How physical do you have to get with your voice? It's a good question. Today, I didn't clearly clear out my mouth from nonsense. Blah, there. Yes, so this is the only part of the video which isn't edited in a way, because today, for a change in this series of unedited videos, I am going to edit it, but not particularly well, which is to say, I'm going to show bits of a session that I'm about to do, doing some voiceover acting for video game style voiceovers, and just to sort of show the physicality. So I'm going to do some stuff, I'm going to introduce little pieces of it, you'll see little clips, and we'll explore it like that. So, as you can see, this is my wonderful sound recording setup. I'm going to be using the same microphone as here, so the sound that will come out of the camera will get a little dodgy. We've got kind of, sound squashing things here. It's just it's not a proper home setup, but it'll do for the purposes of this that I'm doing at the moment. Yes, through the magic of editing, time has passed. Spot the difference. There's a chair here. I'm holding this in my hand. My hair's probably all over the place. Who knows? Maybe this has moved. Probably. So I'm going to go through some of the different things that I've said that I did in the recording session, and with with 5 lessons about physicality and the voice. So the first is that voice is a full body activity. So people tend to think of it as like, oh, I'm just speaking with my voice up here. But actually, you'll see as I move between a pilot character and a terrorist character when I'm doing this voiceover, that by changing the entire body, it's so much easier to change voice than if you were to just try and change those things without like moving your body. So let's look at that. Excuse me, you're not allowed in the cockpit here.
I'm sorry, I am, for I am going to take over this plane.
Yeah, it's okay. I know what I'm doing.
I got a bomb.
Now, the second thing is that tension is not necessarily bad. So there's a lot of talk in voice work about releasing tension, and that's because often the tension that we have in our voice is not healthy tension. So we're going to look just at me. I'm just playing around with the voice in this bit. I'm not recording a line, but I'm playing around with this voice, and there is tension in the neck or it looks like there's tension in the neck. But what I'm doing there while I'm doing that is to make sure that like I'm retracted. I'm going to keeping my throat open whilst also having that kind of croaky sound, and really kind of focusing on keeping the neck long and free, even though there is tension in it. So let's look at that.
Money, this is a kingdom, yes, a little one, maybe the head of the money in a castle. Dust floats in a bin, the room forgets its corners and becomes a cloud.
Now, the third point is that support is about the whole body. So support is like basically how you use the whole body to support the sound of your voice. So here you can see playing around with a vampire character, and often we think about the vampire as in terms of the accent, or something like that. But actually, the first thing I did was work out where the support was, and because vampires are long and thin, I was immediately thinking about like tension in the arse. So let's look at that.
This is a vampire, a patient vampire. I want so arse clenched. I want to suck. Oh yes, and thin in the jungle. Lantern in the rain, it's trembling.
And the fourth lesson tip is only use the tension when it is necessary. So turning it on and off is the thing. So here we're going to go back into that vampire. And just notice when I go out of it, when I go into it, I'm kind of specifically just using the tension that's necessary to. I'm hesitant about using the word tension as well, because it's like, but I mean it is. I mean it's activation. Let's call it activation. That's a better word. Activation of the muscles, like only when needed, really. So I'm turning it on and off here. You can see. Let's have a look. Let's start again.
Well, I am surprised to see you back in this part of the jungle. If you would just take a moment to come into my cave, I can explain everything.
And finally, the fifth tip is that you can, like, if you're coming up with different noises, different sounds with your voice, you can peg that to different parts of your body. So I've got here, I'm looking at an aristocrat character, and I've pegged it for me into the bend of the spine. There's a load of things I'm doing, but I'm kind of thinking about the bend of the spine slightly backwards because of having this sort of big belly and kind of focusing on it down there. So you can see how that kind of affects. Let's have a look.
Aristocrat. I do aristocrats all the time. Why not? More aristocrat, greedy, fat, down, in the beach, hearing footsteps approaching. Quiet time returns. A quiet time returns. Maybe we could do them like that. Aristocrat. A quiet time returns. Always scribble their soft replies to questions no one answered, asked. Oh, yes, okay.
So there you go. Those are the 5 tips. I hope you enjoyed having a look at me like dancing around while recording kind of video game style improvisations. Those were. So those weren't like specific lines that were already written. That was just me playing around with voices. Yeah, 5 tips. Voice is a whole body activity. Tension is not necessarily bad, but you need to really know what you're doing to work with activation of the muscles, let's say, rather than tension. 3, support is in the whole body. So be thinking about that when you're using your voice. 4, only use that activation, tension, like when it is necessary. Get good at releasing and then turning it back on again, only in the areas that you need to actually make the sound, and all other tension, release, release, release. And then 5, peg sounds. If you try and come up with different voices, peg them to different parts of your body, different movements, and it becomes easier to change in and out of them, and it also affects the sound of the voice, which is what we want. So that was a very kind of, I don't know, it was a slightly different type of video than the ones I've been doing in the last few days, but also voice related. If you like this sort of thing, sign up, subscribe. This is the hand gesture for that. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow me on Instagram and all of those things. And if you're interested in the Voice Lab, which is an online program I'm going to run in the new year, there is a link down there. Good. Have fun playing around.